An anonymous Glassdoor review of Rockstar Games claims the studio is now in deep crunch working on Grand Theft Auto 6. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news channel brave enough to wonder if people still care about crunch.
Yeah, it feels like the temperature around the internet's a little different when it comes to causes like that these days. I think everybody's mad at AI right now. I guess the views will tell, but let's get into the news.
That's really true, Lawrence. Respawn first spotted the review, which makes Rockstar Games QA sound like a sweatshop right about now, and I sort of expect that, kind of.
Yes, to some degree it's seasonal, but that's sort of, we can't resign ourselves to negative conditions in the games industry, Bruce, but it's kind of out of our hands, at least the way that Rockstar is managed. Anyway, this reviewer claims to be a current employee of Rockstar India, where they say workers are, quote, expected to work overtime without pay. And that sucks ass. Like, that's just shit no matter what.
That's generally illegal. I don't know about India, but here in the United States, usually that's illegal. Not just a moderate amount of overtime either. They claim that their work colleagues have had to work until 3 a.m. after completing morning shifts.
Yeah, and according to the reviewer, the work pace at the studio has been, quote, hectic since last month, with management expecting the studio to complete tasks that usually take 5 to 6 months in just 2 to 3 months. This is about the time we've got left until GTA 6 launches.
That's a good point. On the plus side, this reviewer compliments the free food and acknowledges there are limited growth opportunities at the studio. Well, you know.
Yep. Hey, welcome to working as a shit adult. Yeah. They conclude by saying, quote, the last few weeks have been a toll on a mental health. They ask for leniency and remind management that, quote, we are humans too.
That's true. This all sounds awful, but we owe you all some due diligence disclaimers here. Glassdoor reviews are anonymously submitted and not validated by the service. You really don't have to prove you're a current or former employee to submit a review. So I guess it's possible this review is made up. I guess maybe it would be more sensational if they made it up, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I tend to think of. If somebody's going to make up something fake, it would be much more bombastic. That's typically what I've found when people make up fake stuff about studios is they're projecting with their imagination, and since they want stories to happen because of fake info, they tend to inflate it a lot and things that don't quite make sense. But the sort of limited claims of this particular review kind of feel authentic just because they do seem realistic.
Yeah, other reviews are actually less severe as well. One specifically compliments the studio's work-life balance and benefits, though it's from about a month ago, which is when the most current review said the workload changed because now we're getting into crunch time, where possibly the game needs to be released in November.
Yeah, perhaps it was fine before, and suddenly, as of a month ago, it's gotten terrible. Another review from 2 months ago is specifically titled, quote, great work-life balance. Although we can't read that one because Glassdoor requires us to post a review first for access. Yeah, super weird. We don't work at Rockstar Games, but I would like to read it, Glassdoor. Fucking tech, man. Hate it.
What the? That's maybe the worst policy I've ever heard. What the hell? All right, so here's one from December 2025 that says Rockstar India has, quote, the best work-life balance you'll see in this company. Okay, well, that's something.
Yeah, so there's some contradicting reports, but again, all of this kind of lands before the window that this particular review says that it got really bad. And I scroll back even further just to get kind of a sense of what Rockstar India employees were complaining about or lauding. And over the past year, it seems that Rockstar India employees tend to complain more about toxic management structures that intentionally underpay all employees due to the prestige of working at Rockstar and on something like Grand Theft Auto 6. I've heard similar complaints from a lot of popular developers and publishers, Blizzard Entertainment, for example. They underpay market rates because they know people want to work for them for the prestige of working at that studio.
Yep, this is a very common thing that I've experienced basically my entire career. And it sucks. It always sucks. It never doesn't suck. So, of course, this is not the first time Rockstar Games has been in the headlines for employee mistreatment. I'm sure you guys remember this.
Yeah, this was fairly recent. Labor unions recently accused the studio of illegal union busting when they fired 31 employees for allegedly discussing confidential information on a Discord server late last year.
The Independent Workers Union of Great Britain filed a wrongful dismissal case against Rockstar Games at the time, but that has yet to go to full trial. So,
Yep. And going back from there, many instances over the past couple decades. Way back in 2010, if you remember this, a blog from Rockstar Spouse described a year-long stretch of 12-hour workdays, including Saturdays, while overtime and holiday time were cut from employee packages.
Yeah, and then in 2018, Jason Schreier published an expose highlighting the crunch conditions in the final months of Red Dead Redemption 2's development. Exactly the same thing.
Yes, so it seems like we're going through the same cycle. I don't know. We've talked about this in the past. I am not quite as hardline about crunch as a lot of people are, or at least were when it was a much more common cause to champion on the internet. I do think that for some projects, especially if you're on a deadline and you have to get things done, sometimes you do got to put in over 8 hours a day. The critical thing being is that employees need to be compensated for their work. Typically, the air quotes right way in game development would be that developers would work their ass off for 6 months, ship a product, and then all take a month off or a month and a half. And then theoretically all get a share of the profits or at least overtime pay. So they'd work a lot, but then get a bulk of money and time off in return. But situations like this, where theoretically no one's getting overtime pay and they're working for free, that is exploitative and should never happen.
Like I said, I don't know India's laws when it comes to employees and employers. I know them relatively well here in the United States because I was an employer and I was a manager. I was an employer and an employee, and I had to do both. I've talked about this many times on the show, but I had sued Comcast for almost precisely this exact thing, where they made us work overtime and didn't pay us. Because we were supposedly white-collar employees, but in reality, we were blue-collar. We were classified as white-collar. So that's happened to me a couple of times, and I know how it goes. That said, I do expect a little bit of crunch, I think, when it comes to like video games, movies, television. That's usually the sort of the way that these things work out. And like Lauren said, it's really important that people are paid. That's really what it boils down to. I don't necessarily agree with mandatory overtime. This is a thing that some companies will do where they'll say like, everybody has to work overtime. We'll pay you for it, but everybody has to work overtime. If companies cannot do that, if they could say, if you want to work overtime, we will pay you and it will help, the final product or whatever. I think I'm all right with that. I think that seems fine to me. And like Lawrence said, at the end of the release, usually what happens is devs will release the game and then they get a month off, and supposedly it should even out, right? Like then you get to take a month off, maybe get some profit shares and a bonus like Pearl Abyss just got for Crimson Desert. And then ideally the time that you spent working up to the release of the game, then you get to take off after the release. That is the theory. That's not always the case. And we work in a very, not a black and white world. It's a very gray world. And what I usually encourage people to do is to look at the employee and employer laws for your state in the United States, or if you are in the EU or anything like that, look at those things and you can use those. Like you absolutely can use those laws and go to a lawyer and say, hey, this is being exploited. I have evidence. You can use it. I did. So you should.
I agree, but it's time for me to be a devil's advocate, Bruce. Do you think that the culture is in a place where people still care about crunch? And do you think anyone's going to not buy GTA 6 if there are credible allegations of crunch?
Oh man! All right, so I want to say that the crunch, the answer to your first question about crunch, I think people cared about it early enough, meaning like 10 years ago, 6 years ago type thing, that I believe some policies are changing at devs. Like lots of devs are unionizing, which is great. And I think that companies are attempting to change those policies to make it so that if there is crunch again, it's paid, maybe not mandatory, that sort of thing, ideally. So I think we're down that road, and I'm not saying that we've solved the problem. And more to your question, do I think people care about crunch? No. I think that people have decided to move on, which is bad. The only time I really see this brought up is with Amazon. People bring up Amazon often. They talk about, pissing in bottles and how each delivery driver has 1 minute to deliver each package, and they got to deliver 1,000 packages in 6 hours. And I believe all of that, by the way. I'm not saying it's a lie. So Amazon, I still see people saying boycott Amazon, like they're abusing their employees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. Again, if you want to do that, you should do that. Because we've seen countless cases of that. When it comes to game development, I see less and less of these reports and less of people caring. And I'm not saying that's good, but that's what it seems to be. And your ultimate question, will people boycott GTA 6? The answer is no, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, are you? I know you're not going to. I know you're not going to. You say you will, but then we're going to see you in Steam. We're going to see just like that Call of Duty, just like that Call of Duty screenshot where they were all going to boycott Call of Duty and they were all playing Call of Duty. I know you're not going to, but maybe you should.
Yeah, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't want anyone to work unpaid overtime. But it's Grand Theft Auto 6. Come on, I've been waiting 10 years for this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, anonymous reviewer in India. Well, hopefully it works out though. Again, I think this isn't quite at the point where it's a cause just yet. Because like we said, it's one anonymous review, but still it's not great, and Rockstar Games does not have a good reputation here. But they do make the best games in the world.
Lawrence, I appreciate, you know what? I appreciate your honesty. Because a lot of people in the comments are not going to be honest about this.
Yeah, they're going to be mean. They're going to be really mean to me, and you kind of deserve it, right? That's one thing I've learned about saying things out loud, is that it's a lot of people just want to hear the nice thing. So I'm sorry I didn't say that, but I'm just too honest, just too brave.
Step one for me is these employees in India. Now, and this is the easiest thing to say for me, obviously, but is really to go get evidence of the exploitation. Is really to get evidence of the exploitation and then go hire a lawyer. And lawyers could be expensive, but ideally you do a class action. You get everybody together and you go and you literally sue Rockstar India. That's how you do it. And then they will settle out of court, most likely. That's really how you, unfortunately, sadly, that's how you do it. And then maybe this episode, Lawrence, is going to get 300,000 views. And then everybody will see, oh, there's crunch at Rockstar, and will actually cause a lot of other people to boycott GTA 6. Will we, commenters?
Yeah, the time is right. If there's any time, like GTA 6 is about to be everywhere in the news. So if there's workplace mismanagement or worker mistreatment, now's the time to start getting the news out there and start making stories. So, hey, if any workers at Rockstar India want to send us some info, we'll happily run any news you have to give us. Because yeah, I think now's the right time, and maybe we can get a little push for workers' rights in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for watching Inside Games today. Your support means we don't have to work in crunch conditions, because we did that a bunch of times when we worked at Machinima and Rooster Teeth. Our dutiful editor Shuklin, he is crunching to get these episodes out quick. He cuts these things in like 3 hours, like sometimes less than that. The dude's a monster, so he is crunching to get these episodes out every single day. So make sure you say thank you to Shuklin in the comments. And we'd also appreciate it if you subscribed and recommended us to a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us even further. We have lots of free memes. All the content is posted there for free as well on Patreon. And on that note, we'd like to thank a few supporters that actually keep this stream alive. Thank you very much, Kyle Heaton, Monkey Butlers, Lenny Neves, Nick Calderon, and E. Compton 3 for keeping us in the game until GTA 6 comes out, and then we're going to take a month off.
Yeah, are we taking GTA 6 day off so we can just play the game?
I mean, we probably should.
We got to be brave. We got to do the news.